I think she is really fresh. She gives you a really feminine look. She's really attractive from the side. She gets out and goes relatively well. I would like to soften her up quite a bit through the center portion of her body. I think she's one that's a little bit more tubular, but I do think for being a little bit more of a green heifer, she's a pretty nice one to start the class. The painted up black and white heifer that comes next, I think one that does get out and go. She gives you a pretty good look. She's long-sided, probably a little bit longer spined, maybe just a touch deeper bodied than the one that wins the class. She is a little bit longer toed, however, when you study her at the ground, maybe just doesn't have quite as much shape when you step in right behind them and read them right out of the top side of their blade, but nice pair there. Young lady's gray heifer that comes next, just a really nice heifer. I think one that just gives you a really cowy type of look. She's maybe not as kind of show ring presence to her as some of the others, but certainly one that I really like her in terms of her udder and teat size. I think she's going to have a really nice udder. Heifer that's certainly going to put some pounds on some calves. The heifer that comes next, I think one that does have some power and dimension to her. She is pretty soft-centered. I think she's one that could be a little bit more refined. She's maybe a little bit further along in terms of her condition. The young man's black heifer that came next, one that just doesn't get out and move quite as well as some of the others. I think she's one that is the most narrow heifer when you study them at the ground and as they come at you. Just like to kind of stouten her up just a notch. And then the red heifer that rounds out the class, this is one that has some power and dimension to her. She's got some depth of body and some rib shape. She just, I'd like to see her tie things together a little bit better. I think she gets a little bit heavier front end, kind of breaks right in behind her shoulder, tends to slope downhill, but nice classic commercial heifers. Let's give them a round of applause.
In Group 2 of commercial heifers, purples go to Addison Stump and Jalen Young. Blues go to Paisley Sena, Caden Goodman, William Delaney, and Mace Barron. Second call, Hereford and Polled Hereford heifers. Second call, Hereford and Polled Hereford heifers. First call, Sentimental heifers, yearling heifers. First call, Sentimental heifers, yearling heifers.
Okay, welcome back everybody, and apologize for the brief break in the stream there. Power outage, like for 2 seconds, all the lights went off here in the arena, and obviously lost power to all of our equipment, which included the internet connection. So right now we're kind of catching up, and this is that single entry from Hallie Meyer in calved May 1st through August 31st yearling heifers.
A single entry here in the final class of the commercial heifer division. One that does get out and move. I think she's pretty athletic. However, I would like to see her quite a bit bigger at this stage of the game for being a Sim-Angus heifer that's over a year. I would just like to see her further along in terms of her maturity, a little bit more performance. I think it's going to get a little bit harder to get one bred and get her calved out, but a nice athletic heifer there from that class.
So now with the closing of that class, we will bring in the tops from each of the groups and determine a champion commercial heifer and reserve champion commercial heifer. I did not see who the top person out of group number 2 was, because I was working on getting our stream back up and going after the power outage, but we'll find out now as everybody comes into the show ring. Miles Babcock will come in. First place out of that first group. Addison Stump coming in next. I believe maybe she was first out of that second group, if not second.
As the commercial heifers re-entered the Custer County Farm Bureau Federation show ring, we'd like to thank our banner sponsor, J.R. Myers Insurance Agency of Callaway. Thank you for your sponsorship. Champion commercial heifer banner.
Coming in third across your screen is Riley Barron, second place from that first group. And then also Jalen Young coming in as well. So first and second from each of the first two groups competing against each other for champion and reserve champion in commercial heifers.
More interesting lineup here as we bring the first and seconds back from the commercial drive. The young man's heifer from that first class, I think one that has some rib shape. She's got some depth of body. As I kind of talked in class, I would like to frame her up quite a bit. I think she's one that's a little bit more moderate. For my personal preference, she could be dialed back a little bit in terms of just how much condition she's carrying as well, but I think she still gives you a decent kind of fresh look to her. She's pretty feminine through that front 1/3 as well. The young lady's heifer that wins the second class may be one that just doesn't grab you in right away in terms of depth of body. I think she is a little bit shallower in terms of her design, but she does have some length of spine to her. She's relatively attractive from the side. I think in terms of just usefulness, this one's relatively functional. As I said, I'd like to see her deeper bodied, but I do think she has some curvature to the upper portion of her rib. So a pretty nice heifer there from the second class. Young lady's heifer that was second in the first class, one that's a little bit more plain in terms of design when you get her out here with the other heifers, but a pretty practical type of female. She's got some muscle shape, she's got some depth of body, just a nice heifer there as well. The black and white heifer from that second class, one that's really big in terms of her foot and bone. She's got some length and extension up through that front 1/3. She's a long-sided heifer, kind of like the one that wins the class. She's maybe just not overwhelmingly deep-bodied or expressively muscled, but I think one that's just pretty smooth and gives you a decent look. So honestly, I think there's some differences in type and kind. Maybe not necessarily one that I just found right away, but I think when you just start to study them at the ground in terms of overall size and practicality, there's one that I guess I like just a touch better, but I will place them 1 through 4 as we do have some sponsors for that. So I'll go out and I'll show you the ones I like, but let's give them a round of applause.
All right, so again, she will show a champion and a reserve. Your champion will be Addison Stump, and your reserve will be Miles Babcock in commercial heifers. Hereford and pulled Hereford heifers up next. As this previous group you see leaving the arena. Here's your champion right there, shown by Addison Stump. Coming out last will be your reserve champion, shown by Miles Babcock. One and only group in the Hereford and pulled Hereford heifers group, calved January 1st through April 30th, 2022. William Delaney, Mahia Jones with 2 entries, Casey Nelson, Abby Stahlbaumer, and Kagan Watoon in Hereford and pulled Hereford heifers. Abby Stahlbaumer first across your screen. Following her is Casey Nelson. Kagan Watoon next. and then Mahia Jones receiving a little bit of help. Her 2 entries coming in back to back, and then William Delaney, the last one into the ring. And they will line up across the top of your screen there in that order. Again, this is our only group in this class.
Second call, sentimental heifers, yearling heifers, have January 1 through April 30, 2022. Second call, sentimental heifers, yearling heifers.
Want to take a moment and thank another of our Purple Ribbon sponsors, bringing you coverage from the Custer County Fair 2023. Agra Affiliates, established in 1985, Agra Affiliates Incorporated is employee-owned with headquarters at North Platte and offices in Kearney, Hastings, Arnold, and McCook. Soon they'll have an office in Broken Bow as well. They provide quality, detailed real estate appraisals, modern, sophisticated property management, and the highest level of real estate sales. As Agra Affiliates, a Purple Ribbon sponsor of our 2023 fair coverage on the radio and on the video stream you are watching. Thank you as well to Custer Public Power District, keeping your lights shining bright. Nebraska is still the only state in the entire United States that is served 100% by public power. Custer Public Power, proudly serving the Custer County community and beyond, locally owned and governed by you. Thank you to Custer Public Power for bringing you coverage of the 2023 Custer County Fair. As we're looking at the Hereford and Pulled Hereford Heifers group, William Delaney, Mahia Jones with 2 entries, Casey Nelson, Abby Stahlbaumer, and Kagan Wattoon. Pulled up to the top first is William Delaney. Casey Nelson pulled up next. So that leaves the 2 entries by Mahia Jones, Kagan Wattoon, and Abby Stahlbaumer. One of Mahia Jones's entries is pulled up to the top next. You see there. That leaves her other entry, which she herself is holding on to. Abby Stahlbaumer and Kagan Wattoon all still out there competing in the top 3. Kagan Wattoon pulled up next. So it'll be between Mahia Jones and Abby Stahlbaumer for the champion and reserve champion choice here from the judge. Abby Stahlbaumer on your left, Mahia Jones on your right part of your screen. Abby Stahlbaumer will be the reserve champion. Champion will belong to Mahia Jones.
really nice class of Hereford heifers all the way through. The young lady's heifer that's going to win the class is one that I like quite a lot. I think she's really smooth in her shoulder. She's really up-headed and feminine from the side. You study this one at the ground, she's got a good amount of foot and bone underneath her, and she gets out and uses them well. I think she's one that's really fluid in terms of her motion. She's one that's really robust through the center portion of her body. She's got some rib shape and dimension, and she's one that's pretty fresh as well. Just a nice place to start the class. Young lady's heifer that's going to come second is probably the broodier one between the two of them. I think she is one that's maybe just got a little extra crest over the top of her neck there. She's maybe not quite as neat fronted as that one that wins the class, but with that, she is pretty powerfully constructed. I think she's one that's got some length of body. She certainly reads with a lot of foot and bone. She gets out and moves really well also, so a nice heifer there in second. The young lady's heifer that's going to come third, I think one that just gets a little bit more plain when you compare her to the two heifers above her. Maybe doesn't just balance up quite as well, just gets a little bit tighter there in her flank, maybe just has a little bit more brisket, but one that certainly has some length of body. She's really powerful. I think one that's going to make an awfully nice cow. The heifer that's going to come next, one that I remember seeing as a feeder calf last year, and I think she's turned out pretty nice. She's got some rib shape and dimension. She's really soft made. She's really fresh. I think one that I'd just like to add a little bit more frame to. She's one that gets a little bit moderate for my personal taste, but a really nice heifer there as well. The dark heifer, one that's really good in terms of presentation. She's got a really nice hair coat on her. She's got some length of body. She is probably one of the most naturally expressively muscled heifers in this particular drive. With that, she is one of the shorter strided heifers. I'd just like to free her up off of both ends of her skeleton, give her a little more flex and ease when you set her into motion. And then the young man's heifer that's going to round out the class, one that's going to be a nice brood cow. I think she gives you a pretty cowy look from the side. She maybe just doesn't have quite as much to her at this point. She's a little bit shallower in her design, maybe not quite as stout and big as a couple of the other heifers in this particular drive, but a really nice class of heifers.
All right, so again, your champion in Hereford and pulled Hereford heifers, shown by Mahia Jones. Reserve champion was shown by Abby Stahlbommer. That brings up a 2-entry group of Simmental heifers, Reagan Fleece and Allie Smith competing in this category.
Reserve champion Hereford heifer goes to Abby Stahlbommer. Purple goes to Kagan Mattoon, Mahia Jones, Casey Nelson. Blues go to William Delaney. Second call. Best group of 3B. Second call. Best group of 3B. As an announcement, after the announcement of the grand champion and reserve champion breeding heifer, we will take 20 minutes before the fitting and showing begins. There will be 20 minutes after the announcement of grand champion breeding heifer and reserve champion breeding heifer before the fitting and showing begins.
Allie Smith on the left-hand side of your screen under that bar there. Reagan Fleece on the center of your screen. And Allie Smith will be the reserve champion in Simmental heifer. Your champion shown by by Reagan Fleece.
A nice pair of Simmental heifers here. The young lady's heifer that's going to win, the solid black heifer, I think, just does so in terms of functionality. She's one that when you set her into motion, I think she more readily fills her tracks. I like the angle to her hock just a notch better. And you get this one on the profile, she gives you a pretty decent look. She's got some depth of body. I would like to see her a little bit bigger. I think she's kind of borderline in terms of how moderate you do want one, but I think one that does get out and move extremely well. The baldy heifer that's going to come next, I think one that does have some power and dimension. She's pretty expressive over the top side of her skeleton. She maybe doesn't have quite as much flex and ease and comfortability when you set her into motion. She gets a little bit more short-strided when you compare the two, but a nice duo of semi-heifers here.
Champion Sentimental breeding heifer goes to Reagan Fleece. Reserve Sentimental breeding heifer goes to Allie Smith. We'd like to thank Stephen, Kristen, Vela, and Eddie Berger, and in memory of Eddie Anderson and Ed Anderson for their sponsorship of the Champion Sentimental breeding heifer banner. Thank you.
All right, listed in the program next is Champion Other Heifer and Reserve Champion Other Heifer, and then Grand Champion Breeding Heifer and Reserve Champion Breeding Heifer. So we'll kind of just have to wait and see. My mind is not serving me well on how this kind of all rounds out. You're seeing the staging area on your screen right there. First into the arena is Braxton Ranierson with his Black Angus heifer. Followed by Paisley Seta with her Charlet yearling heifer. Those would be from the first two groups that we saw. Next comes Addison Stump with her commercial heifer. Mahia Jones with her Hereford and pulled Hereford heifer. Behind her will be Regan Fleece with her Simmental. Let's see. Yeah, it'll be Regan Fleece with her Simmental, then Miles Babcock with his reserve champion commercial heifer, and then Abby Stahlbomber with her reserve champion Hereford and pulled Hereford heifers entry. And then coming in last will be Allie Smith with her reserve champion Simmental heifer. So the lineup, the champions along the back, looks like, and they'll line up the reserve champions. Well, I thought. We'll hear from the judge. So now all of your champions right there along the bottom row, your reserve champions across the top.
To bring the heifers back out here for your champion reserve breeding heifer. I will say thank you to everyone who's helped out in the ring. That makes my life a lot easier, being able to get a good look at all the animals. You guys have been really helpful, and I appreciate that. Thanks to everybody else that helps on the outside of the ring as well, and to just the extension for having me back. Custer County is definitely one of my favorite places to come, and I'm not just saying that because I'm standing here in your county. It truly is a really fun one to be at. I think you guys have a ton of really good livestock, and it's been really fun to sort through. 4-H has always been a big passion of mine. It definitely kind of instilled a lot of values and hard work, and so it's neat to see the traditions continue throughout. But all you guys have done a really excellent job. I commend each and every one of you, whether you're standing out here today or you've been through the ring at some point. It does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to get one to the fair. So congratulations to each and every one of you. I'll go ahead and I'll just talk each calf, and then we'll get a champion in reserve. But young man's heifer from the Angus division, one that's really, really fresh. I think she's maybe one that's a little bit more green in comparison to a couple of the others out here. Like I said, that makes her really fresh. I think as we talked in class, she is the one that wins just off of structure. I think that's where she really excels. This is a heifer that just gets out and goes. She's smooth, she's flexible, she looks good when she gets out and goes. She can certainly be one that just walks out all day. I don't think she's the deepest bodied heifer, but I think she's got enough to her, and she gives you a pretty nice look from the side. The Charlet heifer here, I think one that does have some depth of body. She's pretty shapely and expressively muscled. She's got some nice foot and bone underneath her. I would just like to kind of clean her up through that front 1/3. I think she gets a little bit heavier there, but certainly one that gives you a pretty cowy type of look. So a nice heifer from that division as well. The commercial heifer, I think one that maybe took a little more sorting to come to this one, but I think she is one that's really fresh. She's good in terms of her presentation. I think one that gives you a pretty decent look from the side. I would definitely like to see her have just a little bit more overall dimension and a little bit more to her. Maybe free her up just a little bit when you set her in motion. She's maybe just a little bit short-strided, but a nice heifer there. The Hereford heifer, I think one that definitely a deep class there, one that has some power and dimension. She's really robust. She's got some center body. She's deep-bodied, soft-made, and gives you a really nice look. She ties really high. Her neck ties really high into her shoulder. She's really up-headed, gives you a really feminine yet kind of showy type of look. And then to add that off, she certainly gets out and moves with a lot of structural integrity. So I do like that heifer quite a bit as well. The young lady from the Sentimental division, one that does get out and go. I really liked this heifer in terms of just structural integrity. I think she's one that really fills her tracks. She's one that's got some depth of body and some shape to the upper portion of her rib cage. I would like to see her just quite a bit bigger. I think there's some other heifers out here that are a little bit further along in terms of a frame size and kind of a practicality standpoint of getting one calved out in the future. But with that being said, there's maybe a couple that have kind of hit me a little bit harder throughout the day, but I'll go out, I'll show you the ones I like, and then let's give all these kids a round of applause and a nice group of heifers.
All right, so the judge will hand off the microphone, and then she'll go around between all of these class winners, and she will show us who the champion and reserve champion are. And it looks like your champion is going to be Mahia Jones with her Hereford. That means Abby Stahlbaumer's reserve champion Hereford is going to step in and compete against all of the champions and have a chance at the overall reserve champion.
As we bring that respective heifer back out here from the Hereford division, a heifer that I think gives you a really nice cowy look. She's long and extended. She has plenty of power and dimension. I really like this heifer in terms of her foot and bone work. I think she is one of the biggest footed, most rugged heifers out here. So honestly, it's pretty close between her and the Angus heifer. Those are kind of my favorites of the day, I guess, if I'm being real honest out here. But I'll go out and I'll show you the one that I like that maybe just fits a little bit more my style. But congratulations to each one of you.
All right, and we'll see who the judge chooses here. Going to take one last look. And it'll be Abby Stahlbaumer, your overall reserve champion, coming out of that same Hereford group as the champion, Mahia Jones. So again, best group of 3 beef. You see lots of preparation going on back there. Lots of entries here. 12 entries to be exact, so 36 being brought in. So this might take a little bit to set up. We'll keep an eye on that staging area, and we'll switch the view as they come into the show ring. This gives us a moment to thank some more of our sponsors, including Trotter Service and Trotter Fertilizer in Broken Bow. They want to thank everyone for their business at all of their surrounding Trotters locations. Whether you're visiting Trotter Service, Trotter Fertilizer, or one of the many Trotters Woe and Go locations, they've enjoyed serving you in central Nebraska since 1962. Thank you as well to the Grocery Cart in Broken Bow. They love to help you with all of your grocery needs at the lowest prices. They have fresh groceries, produce, high-quality meat department, a full-service deli, a fresh bakery and cake decorating area, and the GK Wine and Spirits shop, as well as a health and beauty section and more. They're at 937 East Southeast Street in Broken Bow at the Grocery Cart. Thank you as well to the Custer County Ag Society. They welcome you to the Custer County Fair. They urge you to go and check out all of the fun. They also want to encourage you to look at the calendar of events for the fairgrounds throughout the year at custercountyfair.org. You don't want to miss out on any of the activities going on. Thank you to the Custer County Ag Society for joining us as a Purple Ribbon sponsor for 2023 coverage. Best group of 3 beef coming into the show ring right now. And they'll group them together, obviously, in groups of 3, as the category is best group of 3 beef. Then we have been told that there will be a 20-minute break after the judging for this particular event is over. And they will set up for the fitting and showing competition, which takes a lot of setup, takes a lot of power from the outside. Some kids even bring a generator and plug in that way. So they'll have that 20-minute break and no doubt be kind of setting up during that entire time. Seeing 5 groups of 3 out there right now. Lots more than that listed, but we'll kind of try to figure out who's out there. As far as these groups go, names listed on here, but kind of a group competition as well. See Lainey Palmer out there with the group just to the right of your screen. The group right on the bottom of your screen looks like is Bailey Kristen. Down in front of us here, if I can turn the camera down. Looks like one. Trying to get them set up a little bit closer together. That group being overseen. Back tag number there listed in the program. Abby Stahlbomber with the next group. And then overseeing the final group is Macy Smith. So again, judge kind of over here. You see here with that first group, kind of talking things over as far as how the group of 3 compares to each other and kind of fits together. Bailey Kristen being handed a purple ribbon there. That will bring the judge over here to the next group. Judge over here at this group you're seeing on your screen. Brexton Ostrand being handed the purple ribbon with that group. That brings us over to this group that Abby Stahlbaumer is with. She stands with Callie Nelson, who is listed in the best group of 3 beef listing here. Purple ribbon being handed to that group. And this final group of 3 right over here on the right-hand side. Again, Macy Smith there on the left, listed in the program. And we will hear from the judge.
Nice group of 3 out here. I kind of went around and just chatted with each one. They're all going to get purples. I think in terms of uniformity, they're pretty good. A lot of them have some pretty similar types and kinds in them. The one over here to the far left, they're going to be the champion. They've got the champion and reserve market animals from yesterday in the 3rd overall sentimental, so I think quality's definitely there. They're all relatively close in weight, so a really nice group there. And then after that, we're going to go with reserve over here to the next group over. They've got the reserve Angus steer out there, the reserve Angus heifer, and then a purple ribbon Angus heifer as well. So not take anything away, you've all got some really nice pens. I think these ones maybe just have a touch more quality to them, but congratulations to all of you guys.
All right, so we'll wait and hear the announcement on those groups as they all leave the show ring. And then that'll bring us into a short break while everyone gets set up for the fitting and showing competition, which is always a lot of fun to watch. We'll kind of move things around. We'll move things around camera-wise, get some equipment reset, kind of work on that microphone buzz that you're hearing, and we'll get set up for it as well and get ready to pass that along to you. Raining here again this morning, kind of muggy out, a little bit foggy outside of the Custer County Fairgrounds out beyond the barn here, I see. A little bit of a slight breeze, not as much breeze as the last couple of days, but still a breeze that kind of helps take the heat out of the air. Thank you to sponsors Pearson Physical Therapy and Broken Bow. Stop in for the treatment you need and the care you deserve. Don't let pain stop you in your tracks. Make an appointment for a free assessment to help you get on the road to recovery. Call 308-872-5803 for your appointment today. Thank you as well to Nebraska State Bank, proud to be your local bank, serving the area since 1918, with 4 convenient locations in Callaway, Myrna, and 2 locations in Broken Bow. They have your financial service needs covered. Stop by any location to get set up with free checking for your personal or business needs.
In Best Group of 3 Beef, champion goes to Macy Smith. Reserve Best Group of 3 Beef goes to Callie Nelson. Purples goes to Brexton Austrian, Lainey Palmer, Bailey Kristen.
All right, so that wraps up Best Group of 3 Beef. We'll have a break, and they will set up the fitting and showing competition here. And then that will lead us into an overall break, as the next thing listed on the list would be the Clover Kids Bucket Calf Parade, Junior Herd and Best Group of Junior Herd and Best Group of 3 Beef just closing out. But the Clover Kids Bucket Calf Parade going to be coming up soon, as it looks like they might still be kind of wrapping up those interviews on the other side. I am starting to see some of those bucket calves show up around the show ring here. Later on today, the 4-H Dairy Cattle Show and the 4-H Goat Show, followed by the FFA Goat Show, the FFA Dairy Cattle Show at 3 p.m. So we will step away, and we will come back and bring you whichever comes next. Could be the fitting and showing contest. It could be the bucket calf parade. Either way, we've got a little bit of setup to take place here in the show ring before we come back and pass it along to you. We'll be back, and before we take a step away, want to thank a couple more of our Purple Ribbon sponsors. Healing Hearts and Families, they work to educate the public by implementing a variety of outreach activities and public education programs to increase awareness of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and bullying. Keep listening for information about how to donate to and attend their upcoming gala this fall. Thank you as well to A1 Auto Repair in Arnold, the trusted name in auto repair and maintenance services for families across our area. They offer a wide variety of services that your vehicle needs to thrive. Make sure to visit them at their new location in Arnold at 110 East 7th Avenue, or you can give them a call at 308-848-2542 to make an appointment. Again, we'll step away. Bucket Calf Parade from the Clover Kids coming up, or we will see the fitting and showing contest. Either way, one of those two things is coming your direction next, as we work our way further into a Wednesday at the Custer County Fair.
kids and some of the questions she asked. But we have Ruby Bartok and her calf, Daisy. We have Joe Barron and his calf, Captain. We have Brody Blowers and his calf, Mr. Beast. We have Caden Christensen, his calf, Brownie. We have Cowan Dalrymple, his calf, Slow Joe, and he said Slow Joe was ready to go. We have McCrae Eberly with his calf, Charlie. We have Declan Evans with a calf, Kibble and No Bits. We have Reese Hagler with his calf, Pinto. We have Logan Johnson with calf, Cookie. We have Owen Larson with calf, Potato. We have Rexton Myers with calf Oreo. We have Finley O'Brien with her calf Rosie. We have Kinsley Pelster with calf Ralphie. We have Lucy Peterson with calf Bubba. We have Otto Petrie with calf Toots. We have Andrea Poland with her calf Brownie. We have Baron Rosentrader with his calf Caramel. We have Judd Sterner with the calf Baymax. And Quinley Weinman with her calf Poppy. And Oakley Zudavern with her calf Violet. So that is all 20 of our Clover Kid bucket calves. You can see them all lined up here. And you can see there's a variety of calf names as I read all of those off. So we'll let you get a good look at all these young 4-H'ers that I'm hoping they'll be back in a couple of years showing breeding heifers, market beef, stocker feeders, probably sheep and goats and horses as well, and swine too, and poultry and pigeons and rabbits. They can do it all. So we hope to see you all back. With that, I will turn over the microphone to our judge, Atlin Wattoon, and also I wanted them to know that the Ag Society has a gift card for each of you for a small blizzard at Dairy Queen. So do not lose that when Atlin gives that to you, okay? So thank you to the Ag Society for that. And thank you very much for being our judge this year, Atlin.
I just want to say I had a tremendous blast with each and every one of you and got to talk to you guys. You guys answered my questions with a lot of enthusiasm, and they were all pretty cute answers. One question I did ask, when just to them, not over the microphone, was how much did your calf weigh at birth? And I think there was 3 different answers that were pretty spot on. And so I was pretty impressed that there was some of you that knew that. So that was pretty awesome to hear. And I just want to say to keep up the good work, and thank you for all the people that help them along the way, whether it's sisters, brothers, parents. I know that doesn't matter if you're young or you're old, without help, it's hard to get it done. So thank you guys. Give these guys a round of applause because they did tremendous.
Clover Kids Bucket Calf Parade, always a favorite of many. Good crowd on hand to check out the Bucket Calf Parade.
right. I think we can have these guys exit the ring anytime now. However, you find it the easiest to get them out of here and the calmest way.
So coming up next, as we mentioned, is the fitting and showing competition. Already seeing some different equipment making its way around the outside of the show ring, being ready to be brought in as the Bucket Calf Clover kids get a round of applause as they leave the show ring. So we will go ahead and step aside. We'll move around some cameras and some of our equipment as well as we get set up for this show. And we'll bring it to you in just a little bit. Again, it is scheduled for 11 o'clock, running about perfectly on schedule. That's going to allow them just over 20 minutes to set up for the fitting and showing contest. So we'll step away for a moment's time and we'll come back with that for you right here on Sandhills Express, YouTube and Facebook. Take notice of those sponsors that are scrolling across your screen while we are waiting for that competition, and thank those folks the next time you see them.
At the end of the 15 minutes, we'll take and have one of the members of the team or club come out and show it around in a showmanship style presentation. The judge will give you some feedback, and then we'll crown a champion in reserve after this. All right.
And for those of you watching the stream, Jeremy Shipe has taken a camera and made it portable here, so he's going to get some extra close shots during this competition, which should be quite interesting. So that's what you're seeing right now. Dave Burney with you, filling in as we're getting ready for the competition, and it should be fun with the extra camera and the views that Jeremy's going to provide. He's getting himself set up. We have the other views as well that Jeremy and Grant have set up.
All right, here we go. We're about to get started. I'll start a 15-minute timer. At 5 minutes left, I'll make an announcement, and then I'll end it with an announcement with 1 minute left. All righty, teams, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
That is stanchion 2 that Jeremy's been pointing to here in the early going. They have 15 minutes. You may be on the stanchion number 1 now. Good views though. Hope you're enjoying that. Of course, they have to do a great job and do it quickly. And Jeremy's camera is now working his way down to position 3. Actually, he's still showing 2. Young lady on her knees, really working hard. They all are. Now we're over on 3. Jeremy showed me all the different camera angles, but I think what he has right now is the way to go if he can hold that camera for 15 minutes. Really give you an up close as to how this all works. Now he's moving over to station 4. Nice close up there for you. Look at those kids go. They know exactly what they're supposed to do. Each person's doing his own job. They don't get in each other's way. It's all about teamwork. That's still station 4. No, they're not working frantically. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, so they're going quickly, but still making sure that it's done right. And now the camera is on station 5. Like we have 9 stations total. Still on 5. Watching the progress. making his switch over. All right, back on Jeremy's camera now, the portable camera, and that is station 6. Get a nice close-up there for you watching the kids work. And again, they don't get in each other's way. They know what their particular job is in this process. They have 15 minutes to complete the grooming. We'll just stay with camera 6 because you can get a nice close look here that Jeremy is running. That is station 7 now that you're looking at. And the correction, there are 10 stations because I didn't see the one behind the big computer screen here. So there's 5 on each side. Still on 7. Now moving to 8. There's station 8. All right, now station 9, as you can see. Looks like they're working right along. Grooming, all the things they're supposed to do. The judge will take a look following the completion of this 15 minutes and grade them appropriately. And finally, station 10. And it's good to see all different ages here, but a lot of, seems like maybe a few younger 4-H'ers involved, which is great. They'll pass it along as they grow. The noise that you hear is the generator behind us. Jeremy's scanning down the middle here so you can get a picture of the north side, the 5 stations on the north side. Now he's going a little bit closer for you. And by gosh, there's 11 stations, so my apology, one over in the corner there. So we have 11 stations. And it looks like 11 is rolling right along. Nice close up there for you as they're grooming the tail. Have to have that puffed up just so. Sliding over now to station 1. Nice view of that, nice and close for you. I wonder if Jeremy's arms are getting tired. Surely they are. Back to station 2. Kids kind of working and kind of looking now, kind of making sure they've got everything done here. And some spraying. That is actually station 3 that you're seeing now. A lot of spraying going on station 3, as you can see. Certainly not a toxic spray because the young people don't seem to mind it at all. I imagine they're very used to it. Now back to station 4. And again, 11 stations competing this year. Had one behind my computer screen and one over in the corner I missed. Thought there were 9 to start with. That's nice that there's 11. Sliding over to 5. Kind of watching the announcer to make sure I don't miss his call here at the end. Now the judge has been kind of standing back, but now starting to kind of watch the process here. And sliding back over now to the south side to station 6. Now it looks like they're kind of looking at their work right now. Maybe getting closer, doing some finishing touches there. Spraying the leg. It'll be interesting to hear the judge's comments on just maybe what was done right and what could be done a little bit better. H'ers at 7, doing some vacuuming, blowing, drying, all in 15 minutes. I would imagine Bailey, our judge, legs are getting a little bit tired after almost 2 full days of standing and judging animals, but she's probably somewhat used to it. She does quite a bit of it. She has her own cattle, her own projects. She sells crop insurance. She's quite a talented lady. And working not frantically. I don't want to use the word frantically. Steadily. On 8. I wonder if his arms are getting tired. He just needed to change elevations there. And there's 9 for you. Curry comb's going, brush is going. Each individual, again, understanding the process. They practice this. Now station 10 has their steer out of the stanchion station. And they're all starting now to get close because they're getting them out for inspection. Ah, the generator quit too. That's nice. Some last minute touches as they bring the animals out. You can probably see just a little bit better.
1, blowers off.
And blowers off. They're getting a good round of applause for well done. And it looks like the microphone is being handed to our judge.
All right, I'll just kind of go to each group and ask a couple of questions to each one, and then we'll get you some results. But let's see, we'll start over here. We'll start at the end. Group 11, who's your spokesperson? You are, show me the name, the spokesperson. Okay, can you tell us kind of what your game plan was going into this?
Our game plan was just kind of teamwork and split up the task.
Okay. So who did what?
I did the tail head, and then Mace did most of the legs. I did the front. I did one leg. Kate blew, and then Allie did the tail.
All right. Well, you guys did a nice job. Who's you guys'? All right. So what was you guys' game plan?
We were going to divide and conquer and kind of do some people on one thing, some on the other.
Yeah. So who was doing what?
We had Paisley and Rayleigh working on the tail a little bit. We had all of us doing legs. We had Rayleigh blowing. We had Paisley fly spraying. I was spot cleaning, and then Trow was brushing.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
So we just kind of came in here and tried to stay calm and teamwork, try our best.
Yeah, awesome. So who did what in yours?
So me and Taryn did the tail. We both also did the legs, and the boys did the body.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, guys. You're back again. Okay. Who's talking? You are? Okay. So what was your game plan?
We divided into groups, and me and Brecken did the legs and tail, and they did the body.
Okay. So you pretty well covered my both questions there. Good job. All right. Who's talking over here?
I guess that would be me.
That is you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our
What's your game plan?
our game plan was pretty random. Just try to make them look as full as we can, and don't do the same thing 5 times.
Yep. Okay. And then
Came in trying to know what we were doing beforehand, though.
so who did what?
Ty did most of the legs. I did the back. Cordell did the back and the tail head, I'm pretty sure. And then the Colt did the back of the tail. Colt did the tail. We all kind of worked together to shine him up.
Okay. Awesome. Well, good job, guys. All right. What was your game
work together. We have a lot of age difference in our group, so try to teach the younger kids kind of what to do and help each other out. So.
Awesome. So who did what in yours?
I did the top of the tail and the legs, and Traven blowed, and the little two helped brush in spots we needed. So.
All right, nicely done. Who's talking? Okay, what was your game plan?
I don't know. We just worked together and try to get them done.
Yeah. Okay, so who was doing what?
So Callie did the 2 front legs, Reagan did the back, Hayden and I worked on the tail head together, and then I did the tail and clipped a little.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Which one of you's talking over here? You? Who's the oldest? You're going to talk. Okay, what was your game plan?
Just try to finish what we needed to finish in the time we had. Addie and Sean did the legs, and Kennedy brushed, and I did the tail head and the hooves.
Okay. All right. Good job, guys. Who's talking? All right. What was your game plan?
We divided and conquered, so I worked on the tail, Charlie worked on the legs, Ellie and Ruby brushed up and sprayed the hooves.
Awesome. Good job, guys.
I am.
So what was your game plan?
Yeah, our game plan was to come in here, do a whole bunch of teamwork, and help everybody out if we needed help, you know?
So who did what?
We all did a whole bunch of, on the feet work. I mostly did the feet and the tail. We had McKenna here do its head. We had Stetson, our guy, he brushed on a whole bunch of foam and also helped out with the feet and make sure all the white and the black blends in.
Awesome. Great job, guys.
I do know the questions. Okay, so me and Kirby over there, we did the show halter, the back legs together. Then me and Bree, we learned how to do the tail head and the tail. And Addie right here, our showman, she learned how to do the front legs, and she learned clipping for the first time.
Awesome. Well, got some learning in there. Great job, guys. Okay, so some observations I made. I kind of just went around and was looking at who was doing some teamwork, which ones had all 4 kids involved. I know that sometimes there's maybe a kid that doesn't feel super comfortable doing something or whatever, but it is a team process, and it is called team fitting. So we do want to see that all the kids are involved equally. There's maybe a couple that did a little bit better job about actually finding projects for each one of you instead of maybe just combing the body a little bit. But like I said, all of you worked really well together. I think the team aspect went well. You guys all had a lot of teamwork. There was a lot of communication between everybody, just kind of some things like that. I know I participated in many a team fitting contest when I was in the junior stuff as well, so it's fun to be able to hang out with your friends and compete as well. So a couple of tips I have, just when you're gluing legs, steel combs work a lot easier than the plastic combs. They don't get gummed up quite as bad. They'll pull through the hair a little easier. Like I said, kind of some communication and teamwork. It's really easy, or makes it life easier if you kind of have a game plan, like I asked you about before you even set foot in the arena, kind of who's going to do what, and then when you finish your specific task, obviously just kind of fill in wherever, but that does make it a little easier. And then, as I mentioned, just making sure everybody's kind of chipping in equally and staying busy and working towards the final product there. But I think there's some differences in terms of maybe just how effective each team was. I think there's certainly some really good fitters standing out here, so nice job to everyone. We will get you ribbons and pick a champion in reserve, but let's give all these kids a big round of applause. They did a really nice job. The champion team will be team number 6. on the end there. And the reserve champion is going to be team number 10.
Well, there you have the completion of the fitting event for 2023. Jeremy's still getting some video pictures here. Ribbons will be handed out. Very happy team number 6. I gotta believe Jeremy's arms are getting quite tired by now, but he's done a great job of bringing it closer to you. Close up right there. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll just give you a picture of the whole ring here in just a little bit, as soon as Jeremy concludes his mobile coverage for you. And it looks like he is done, so we'll just kind of sit tight here for a little bit. I'll let Jeremy take back over the controls up here.
Okay, everybody, again, thanks for tuning in for today's fair coverage. Remainder of the day is going to continue at 1 o'clock. The 4-H Dairy Cattle Show, the 4-H Goat Show, followed by the FFA Goat Show, and then the FFA Dairy Cattle Show to round things out. So as we are going to be on break for a pretty significant amount of time, we're going to step away, and we will come back and start another stream with those afternoon activities. Thank you for watching.